Hey there. Welcome to Stuversations. I am Carla. Haven't been on and done the Stuversations in a minute, but I've been looking at this thing with Macy Gray and how everybody's upset with her opinion on. She was on Pierce Morgan, and I want to go through that and look at that and get an idea. I agree. I'm a person who loves women, and I agree that we have a right as a woman to have an opinion, and I'm kind of thrown off as to why women, cisgendered women, are being villainized and called transphobic just because they have a thought about womanhood. Who else better to have a thought about what a woman is than a woman? And and not to get into the weeds of what you think a woman is, but just be real. Couple like in reality, a natural born woman can't have an opinion. And why is it that the values and opinions and thoughts of a transgender is more valued? I don't know. So I just want to look at this and talk about it because some people haven't seen it, and I was one that hadn't seen it. So here we go.
I totally agree. And I will say this, and everybody's going to hate me, but as a woman, just because you go change your parts doesn't make you a woman.
Right.
Sorry.
What's wrong
You
with
feel
that?
that?
I know that for a fact. Like, if you want me to call you a her, I will, because that's what you want. But that doesn't make you a woman just because I call you a her and just because you got a surgery.
Because people do.
Now, why is that wrong? Why is the opinion of somebody incorrect? And if it's contrary to what is the most popular thing, how is that wrong? I really don't get it. Like, we acting like in the gay community, like we all get along, like we are all the most supportive of one another. And the truth is, we're not. We are not. We sometimes fight one another harder and don't stand up. But as women, we all should pay attention to how do you think that really makes us feel that if I am a woman, whether I like women or not, if I'm standing very right next to a transgender, 15 times out of 20, their opinions, their thoughts are going to be more escalated and illuminated, and the light shined on. And if I don't agree with the her that she is, then I'm wrong. I don't get that. Like, the most feminine woman in the world has what stance next to a feminine transgender? If you got to go with the fact of how they feel based on what the fact is of this grown ass woman, I'm still in that space of not understanding how that is where we are. How is it that I, I'm stumbling a little because I in my mind it goes back to, do you want people to think we are crazy? Like, what's wrong with just saying that I have feminine feelings and feminine attractions and things like that? But I know I'm a man. But we now have to say, because you say you're a woman, you feel like a woman, you are more a woman than any woman I know, and I got to treat you that way. I'm kind of still in the torn place of, if I meet somebody who is transgender, I'm respectful, and you're a guy, that's fine and dandy. But if I start asking questions, how come I got to monitor and weigh my questions so that your feelings aren't hurt? At some point in your life, haven't you? Don't you know that this road that you're on is going to be filled with questions, filled with opposition, and there's a tough tenacity about you that should be there? Many people are going to have stuff to say, and a woman, Macy Gray, is being villainized now. They're talking about everything about her, digging into her, just because she has an opinion that a natural born woman is a woman and a transgender still isn't a female or a male. You are a male playing the role or a female playing the role. And why is that a problem that that's somebody's opinion? I don't know. Let's listen to it again some more.
Do you feel that there's biological sex and then there's gender identity, that you can identify as whatever you like
You
in
can call
terms
yourself
of a
whatever you
gender,
want.
right? That's the freedom we live in.
Absolutely.
But actually, you can't change the mechanics of biological sex. They are what they are.
Well, just like women go through just a completely unique experience, and surgery or finding yourself doesn't change that. Being a little girl is a whole epic book, and you can't have that just because you want to be a woman.
Well, and that right there, what she said, lends to also how they're trying to make us accept the fact that a child can say, I feel like this, so that is it. And we can feel a lot of different ways. I have a headache. Sometimes I don't feel good. I don't feel like doing anything. Does that dictate what I do for the rest of my life? Facts over feelings. And I think we are at a point now where everything is just based on how do you feel? And what you feel is more important than anything else that's going on. They're starting so young into kids now where they indoctrinate them to say, no matter what it is, you don't have to live through anything. You have to be tough. You don't have to go through anything. Make a change. You don't like it, change it. But how, as a kid, do you know if as an adult, and we're talking about adults now, if as an adult we got this much confusion, what do you think a child is going through? What do you think a child is experiencing? But why do we continue to allow others? I'm speaking to women who you was born a woman, you had a vagina when you was born, you had some breasts that grew into when you was young. We know what we know what girls are, and let's not sit and act like we now got to redefine boy, girl, man, woman. I'm not doing it. You know what a man is. You know what a woman is. Girl, you sit down to pee, and if you changed as a you youngin, you sitting down to pee, you're a chick. You standing up to pee, you're a boy. That's the long and short of it. But whatever. Anyway, but they want to make that now so much so that you can't say anything, and it's so offensive that even as an adult, it's even worse. It's worse now. She's now considered transphobic. Why? Are trans people heterophobic? Is that such a thing? What am I considered if I'm in the lesbian community, but I don't subscribe to LBGTQIA plus community and wherewithal? I'm not a supporter of the agenda of effeminate men and declaring that any masculine male that wants to uphold what he feels masculinity is toxic. I don't agree. I'm not going to that, but we're not going to veer off of that. That's a whole nother. But this thing that Macy Gray is saying, like, what makes her?
And you know that when people like J.K. Rowling have said this, they get attacked, they get abused.
Yeah.
The cancel culture mob comes from me. She gets called transphobic and so on. You might get the same for saying it.
But it's the truth. I'm not, and I don't think you should be called transphobic just because you don't agree with, I just, there's a lot of, judgment and throwing, stones at people for just saying what it is. You know what I mean?
You have hung out with some very interesting people in your time.
Yeah.
And so what is the problem? What is the problem with her having an opinion that, it's hers? What's wrong with me having an opinion that's mine? What's the problem? What is it that we're supposed to do when we have an opinion contrary? It shouldn't be contrary, but it is these days. What you think a woman is now contrary to what you grew up knowing a woman to be. The thing that always throws me off inside of this transgender community versus the natural cisgendered community is, where did you get your actions as that woman? You emulating something you saw, right? Something that you think you've learned, you're mimicking and emulating that lady. So do you now think that because you've emulated it and practiced and done it so long, you're now more woman than any woman? Help me as a lesbian who loves women. I love feminine women. I'm not the am I supposed to be wrong that when I see a transgender lady, I'm not attracted to her, even though I find her to be beautiful and all that? That's not my attraction. Am I transphobic? Am I? Because I prefer a cisgendered woman that loves women? What does that make me? If the fact that I think that a woman is only a woman that was born a woman and a man is only a man that was born a man, what does that make me? What am I transphobic? No. I have tons of transgender friends. Well, let's correct that. I know tons of transgender because I wouldn't say they probably wouldn't consider me a friend. I don't know. Answer some of my questions. Let's talk about the questions of that we have. Even as a lesbian, as a stud, there are questions that I have as to why a woman can be demeaned, demoralized, put down. A cisgender woman can be beat up by men, not protected. Do you see how even in this space, women aren't protected? A cisgendered woman isn't protected right now. She has less rights, less ability to have something to say, more scrutiny if she does say something. She has to sit and watch a man wear a mustache, have a penis, feet twice the size of her, and she's got to sit and say, this is my equivalent. Why? Why is that? That's not the equivalent. Why is that? Why is that what people got to say? I don't get it. I wish somebody would talk to me about that. What is it that let's not even talk about a straight world. Let's talk about in the lesbian world, because that's where I qualify, right? I don't understand how come you more woman than my girl, more woman than my mom, more woman than my aunt. Why do I have to act like you are more woman than the woman is? Why do I have to show you more leniency than her? Why is she the last protected? Why is it that there are so many comments by trans people about women and men, and the women and men aren't able to say anything because as soon as they do, what's they call cancel culture? That is so crazy. I am still searching for the person who can explain to me why women, men are of less value. Why is it that now they are now the minority and the anomaly in the world? I don't get it. So that's I just wanted to come on and just applaud Macy Gray for saying it, not even in a rude way, wasn't trying to be funny. The banter wasn't derogatory at all. It was just her opinion. And why is she wrong for her opinion? Everything else is an opinion. Based how you feel is your opinion on you. If you transgender, that's how you feel. You feel that you're supposed to be a woman. You feel like you're supposed to be. That's how you feel. Why I got to say, okay, I feel that same way for you. No, do your thing. But why I got to be subjected to have to say, you're more woman than that woman. And why can't Macy Gray have an opinion? Why she's got to be wrong in her opinion? That's her opinion. Don't deal with her. She's not dealing with who she doesn't want to. But now we can't say anything. I believe that a transgender woman is a woman to the degree that you are, but not to the degree that a cisgender woman is. They got it. Yeah. Answer me this. Preachers, teachers, everybody. When we come, what do you say? What are you teaching? What are you teaching now, biblically? Oh, what are you teaching? That's going to be the next talk. What are you teaching? How is it that what are you teaching? What do you teach about God being right, wrong? Is God wrong about some stuff? Is that where we at now? God is so wrong that only people right are the ones that correct God? Come on now. Anyway, that's my opinion. I wish you come on, subscribe, come talk to me, send questions. Stuversations@gmail.com. This is Carla. I am your most favorite Stuversationist. Stuversations means straightforward, thought-provoking, uninhibited dialogue. presented in a conversation style by this stud, this lesbian who loves women. So I just agree. I agree with Macy Gray. And I don't think it should be such a situation where she's got to now be transphobic just because she has an opinion as a woman, born a woman, and how she feels and what she thinks about a trans. I think that's why can't we speak truth, speak fact without everybody being offended? How are you offended with my opinion, my thought? It's mine. Anyway, y'all have a good day. Be blessed. Peace.